Hello and welcome to the first episode of this brand spanking new channel. My name is Frank, and I'm going to be joined today by three of my friends, Jade, Nathaniel, and Ryan. Today we're going to introduce an experimental new format to D&D 5e that we call random rolls. And as the name suggests, there's a lot of dice rolling to determine monsters, treasures, events, and other outcomes. We use primarily charts and monsters from the Coasts of Saltmarsh hardcover book, as well as the other core rule books. Now, it's important to point out that while the final destination has been determined by the DM, me, there's still a lot of things to fill in from the beginning to end. The monsters, the various other things that will happen to try to stop them and help them. So we determine that based on the dice. And if you like this idea and you really like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that little bell for the notifications. That way you can see future videos down the road. One of the things that I'm really excited for as a DM, aside from this whole experimental format and hearing what you all think, was the hook in the very beginning. So how to get the party invested is always an interesting challenge. So this time we tried something totally different. And I'd like to know what you think. So leave a comment below and tell us what you think. Now on to the story.
You guys find yourselves in the city of Norbith, and you all have come here for one reason or another, just pursuing your own drives and ambitions and whatever might bring you here. And Norbith it's a coastal town. It's just where a river meets the ocean. And the river is pretty small. It's nothing like Baldur's Gate with this massive river that leads into the vast ocean. But what's unique about this area is it's coastal. It's fairly Pacific Northwest-like, so very rainy, very lots of big trees, and it's. But the ocean near it is called the Azure Sea, and it gets that name from. It's not only is it just blue, but it's also not a very dark or murky sea. You can see pretty well on a sunny day through it, almost like the tropics. And in this area, this is actually a very rough sea, though. It's rough with conflict from warring nations. It's rough due to pirates. It's rough due to storms and the creatures that can live within it. And this place also breeds a really hardy stock of sailors. They have had to put up with a lot and have had to fight very hard to stay alive out in the seas. And of course, many of them don't survive. So you all come here knowing that this place it's like the frontier, but it isn't the frontier. As in, it's not new to everybody, but it's known as just tough. This is the tough, rough area. So you all find yourself, it's the morning, you've all come downstairs to the main area of this tavern. Either you're staying in the tavern or you're outside nearby, or you woke up in an alley and kind of stumbled in here with the smell of the cooking potatoes and eggs and the smell of something that smells like tea but stronger. And it all just pulls you in there. And it's pretty rowdy in here. This place is big enough to probably cram 50 to 60 people in here. The tables are moderately full. There's a rowdy crew over in a corner that seems like they actually haven't even gone to bed from the entire night before. And the sun is like recently just risen, so it's that early. So if you find yourself being a late sleeper for whatever reason, your character's a late sleeper, you were woken up by something. Whether it was the rabble of this town or something else. So you find yourself in here, and you're able to find a spot to yourself if you want, or you're able to mosey up to some stranger to strike a conversation. And if you want food, it seems readily available. You just wave down someone. Let's see here. Kepesk, you're a lizard folk. When you wander in here, you get some strange looks. But
I actually walk through the front door. I walk through the front door and I'm just like, I've gone for a swim in the river. I kind of announce, and I'm kind of flexing, and then I do like a front flip, and then I like do a back flip, and the water, the remains of the water from my swim in the river is just like flips everywhere and like sprays everywhere like an annoying dog.
You get a lot of reactions. You get a lot of reactions. Everyone, of course, is noticing you with that kind of an entrance.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Like people are like, get the lizard out of here, and then
temperature of water is very clement this morning.
The barmaid says, now, calm down. Everyone's welcome in here. You grab a seat wherever you want. What can I get you, sweetie? You just did quite a swim, huh? You're probably starving. Get a seat. I'll get you some food.
Big hunk of fresh meat would be good, thank you.
Really? Well, I'm not surprised. You got it, sweetie. And she busies off, takes care of that. A moment later, we have Aapa.
Yep, Aapa.
Okay, Aapa. And where is Banshee, out of curiosity, and how are you entering the tavern? Or were you from upstairs? Or where?
Banshee is definitely with me, and we come in the tavern. I'm not riding her. I'm just going to push the door and she's going to walk beside me, but we're both like very synchronized and just coming in with our noses up like, we smelled something really good here. What is it? We must have it. Banshee said it's good. I want it.
Okay. All right. Your noses clearly draw you into this place. And you go through the front door, I presume. Or did you go straight through the kitchen? Through the back out?
Oh yeah, if there is a door near that's nearer to the kitchen, then we would probably get drawn to that.
If you're drawn by your noses, you're very likely drawn to the back of the place where there's a kitchen, and there's a door that brings in like the cool morning air as it starts to heat up in that kitchen because it's been going for hours already. Going. So you get to the back door and you see cooking there. He's just this kind of bigger guy, like, what you doing back here? Hey, if you want to get into the tavern, you got to go around the front. You take your big cat dog and go around the front. We're not letting anyone in here, all right? Business hours start in the front.
Scary. Come, Banshee.
Yeah, that's right. I'm scary. And so you go to the front, and you and Banshee walk in, and this large cat is drawing quite large, long stairs. People not too long ago just saw lizard folk walk in. And just keep in mind, like, the people in here are pretty vanilla. There's humans, there's dwarves, there are, some gnomes and halflings, but they stand out even, excuse the pun, or opposite of a pun. They find their own way of standing out. So it's nothing too eccentric.
Little girl, bring your cat over here. You can sit over here if you let me eventually fight your cat. It looks like a good fight.
Big lizard! Me like! And I just run over him and just like,
you call me big lizard again, I slap you across the face.
Okay.
But please, take a seat.
Yes?
That will do.
As you two get comfy and sitting next to each other and start to talk, Tracan, how would you enter this situation?
Tracan is kind of a late sleeper. He hasn't been on this kind of plane very long, and one of the only things he really appreciates about it is the beds, because beds are pretty awesome. He came down from the ruckus going on, and he's still rubbing the sleep out of his eyes. He's gonna head over, grab a drink, some nice tea or whatever they have available, and he's just gonna sit down at the nearest open seat.
Yeah, there's actually a big hot kind of keg that is upright, and it's got a convenient little spout on the bottom of this wooden keg, and you can feel like the thing is warm, which is very soothing in a cold morning, and some people are actually hanging around it, and this is like a complimentary warm keg, and you pour some out, and of course some of them saw you from the night before, and so they know of you, and you maybe talked to a couple of them or just traded a few words, and so some of them that you recognize give you a nod, a hungover nod, and others eye you just like, what is that big bird?
I'll give a quick wave and nod to whoever seems to be friendly towards me.
Okay. And the barmaid, she says, "Oh, good morning. Glad you made it down here. I hope things weren't too loud for you, sweetie."
No, of course not. Yes, I'm fine.
Okay, good. Are you hungry?
Yes.
Great. I'll get you something. And do help yourself to some of the drink right there. And she busies off into the kitchen.
Hey, come take a seat over here. We have quite the menagerie. I've never fought Big Bird before. You look like quite good fight too.
I will completely ignore the fighting thing, and I'll just kind of give like a fake laugh, and I'll make my way over.
Excellent. Okay. Now that you all are establishing yourselves, I need you to get some dice out for me if you haven't already. I need a D10. Each of you are going to roll one D10, one D20, and a D6 twice. So first we're going to have the D10. We're going to start with Aapa. Give me that D10, please.
That's a 3.
Kepesk, go ahead. What's your D10?
10.
10. All right. And Tracan?
I got a 9.
9. All right. Next is the D20. Aapa, what's your D20?
16.
16. Okay. Kepesk?
4.
4. Tracan?
I also got a 16.
16. Okay. All right. Next is the one of the D6 at a time. Aapa.
2.
And the next
and
one?
6.
2 and 6. Okay. All right. And then Kepesk?
6 and 4.
6 and 4. All right. And then Tracan?
I achieved a 3 and a 5.
3 and a 5. Okay, great. I have to punch in these numbers for a split second here.
So, what are you? You look like kind of, I don't know, you're kind of colorful.
Yes, I completely understand if you may not have been entirely familiar with my people. We are known as the Aarakocra, and we hail from the lovely elemental plane of air. I would recommend you visit it at some point if you are able. You might know.
Like to fight?
Do I like to fight? Oh, I'm more of a artist of nature. You may have heard of me. I'm a famous musician.
What is your name again?
My name is Tracan.
Tracan. Never heard, but I will remember you from this moment forward. Very colorful, very good.
I'm sure.
Aapa is just like stuffing her face with the food, but I mean, she's going savage on the plate, just like full on plate, face inside the bowl, and Banshee is doing exactly the same.
Yeah, whenever my hunk of meat comes to me, I do the exact same, just like bits of gristle kind of like hitting probably your two faces unless you do dexterity saves. Just like
I'm kind of taking the fork and I'm poking around on whatever plate's in front of me, and I'm just taking the pieces that look exactly the best. I probably don't eat a lot of it.
Yeah,
bird appetite.
there's a lot of meat. There are, like the potatoes I said, deliciously baked on a skillet, baked on a skillet, and then there is some bread. There's like big hunks of bread that were cut off.
I definitely sample the majority of my meal from the bread.
Yeah, Aapa doesn't touch the bread. She only touches natural stuff. So only potatoes and meat.
Does anyone? Do you, you little girl? Would you like to? What do you say to some kind of scuffle? You know, here we can get maybe a little bit of money from people. You know, I have yet to do my morning workout, so I wouldn't mind a little bit of a tussle to get the muscles moving.
Money?
Okay, I would just like to fight. I don't need any money. That's actually quite irrelevant. I just want to kind of get a warm-up tussle going.
Oh, Banshee says, "Me no fight after me eat, but you can fight Banshee."
At that, you hear a tiefling in fine clothing that looks quite dashing, actually, stands up and is from that rowdy crowd and looks over at you all. And says, Is that someone looking for a fight, I heard? And he like zones in right on you, Kepesk. And he looks into the rest of his group. He says, ho, boys, I think someone's yearning for a fight. And then you see this brawny half-orc say, well, I don't know. Over there, I mean, that's an odd crew. Do we really want to tango with them? And then you get this other character, this elf that's kind of got this twitch in his eye. Just, I don't know, guys. They're kind of perfect. And
You have a bit of nervous twitch over there that I could possibly medicate with my fist.
A bunch of them laugh, and they're like, oh, I think they'll be perfect. I like them so much.
I'm kind of scared, but okay.
With that, the tiefling walks over and says, I think it's important that you all come and join us. We won't mean you any harm until it's very apparent that harm is there. See, we are looking for 3 such able individuals to challenge us. And he gestures to himself, the tiefling, the half-orc, who is like this big brawny guy, and this kind of jittery elf. He says, we challenge you. It's a very simple challenge. It's not to the death. It's just whoever is stuck on the ground, who can't get off the ground for 3 seconds. Whoever stays on the ground, well, that's fine. If it's you guys, you lose nothing. You just soar, whatnot. But if you win, well, and he just looks at the rest of the 2 with him and the rest of the group, and they all kind of chuckle. Like, there's clearly a joke that they know, and they're not letting on.
Oh, very funny, ha. In joke, that's great. We cannot join you, but
No,
soon you will not be
you
last.
don't understand. It's not a joke. This is for real. You fight us, one-on-one, each of us. And as you see this, the elf lines up with Aapa, and the half-orc lines up with Tracan, and the tiefling lines up with you, Kepesk.
Just my luck.
It'll be a fair fight, just fists. Fists and anything else that's creative. But keep in mind, this is a bar fight. We don't want any bloodshed more than reason. No deaths. And you got to be respectful of the neighbors. And he just gestures to the locals around.
Tracan will puff up their feathers and their plumage, and I'll turn my face to the barkeep and I'll be like, are you all right with this? Are you all right with this trouble in your bar?
As you look over to her, you see her talking to this kind of grizzled, bearded human. He's got his hair in braids, his beard in braids, and a bigger guy. And he looks very genuine. He looks kind of like a nice fella. And he's also pretty lean, pretty broad, kind of just chiseled, not stocky like the half orc, but chiseled, and approachable. And he's talking to the barmaid, and she looks a little worried, but he looks back at her, and you see them exchange a few words, and he puts some coin in her hand, and she's like, yeah, it's fine, sweetie. Just do be careful.
Very well. Will we go in rounds?
Yes, the tiefling says. And he says, just give us a moment, please, while we sort ourselves out. And
While
as he
they
turns
talk
to the
amongst
other,
themselves, you two, if you do not want to fight, this is fine with me. I can take on all 3 of them if you like.
Aapa kind of looks like she's in a bit of a food coma, so her eyes are getting really tiny. She's just petting Banshee on the side. She goes, "Me no fight, but Banshee can."
Banshee looks at you, kind of okay. And the elf is when the elf overhears this, she's like, oh, no, I'm not fighting no cat. I'm not fighting the cat. I'm fighting the kid.
She no cat, she panther.
Oh,
You
I
bad
don't know.
eyes.
It's much better.
Yes, I do have bad eyes. Is this a joke? Is this funny?
Huh?
It was.
And then like the rest of his crew actually laughs. They're like, ha, I'm putting money on the kid. And Banshee, with that, she can smell that they want to fight you. Would you like to give Banshee an insight check and roll for her?
Sure.
I'm not sure what her wisdom is off the top of my head.
Actually, she has 14 wisdom.
Wow, look at that, a +2.
Smart cat.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's not going to help her because I rolled a 3. So
Hey.
that's a total of 5. Banshee is in a food coma as well.
Well, she's rolling for insight to see if these other people are suspicious, and she just looks back at you like, oh.
It's okay, Banshee. It's fight for fun. If you want, we don't care.
She kind of like nuzzles to you. She nuzzles to you like, if you wanna. She's just kind of saying like, if you wanna, I guess. I mean, yeah, we did just eat, but.
But Benji, it's fight no kill. It's just show weird tweak person over there. You stronger.
Just to be clear, are you asking her to fight for you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So, the character over from the bar walks up, and he walks up to you three while the other three are talking to themselves. He's like, all right. I know they didn't explain much, and unfortunately I can't, but I really appreciate you all. And he looks at Cat Banshee. He's like, I really appreciate all three of you partaking in this. After it's over, I'll answer any and all questions you have. And I appreciate you all doing this. Ready? Great. Okay, let's go. He like intentionally ignores any questions you just had. And he just like walks towards the group, and the rest of the crew's like, all right, yeah. And so a bunch of them like gather around, not in a complete circle. Like there's enough for the locals to watch. And you three are pitted up against each other. Banshee with the elf, Kepesk with the tiefling, and Tracan with the half-orc. So it's just going to be just straight old fists. You get the impression that if spells maybe were used, you might be able to get away with it, but you're going to have to be stealthy. All right. So go ahead and give me those initiatives.
So are all three of us fighting at the same time? We're just going against our only one person?
Yes.
Okay.
I rolled a natural 1.
Hey.
I'm going to leave this dice on the side.
All right. Tracan, what'd you get?
I got a total of 16.
16. And Kepesk?
22.
22. Nice. All right. So you all kind of stand off. It's long enough for the, three pairs to go off next to each other. And there's not a lot of space in between you all, actually. Like for, meta purposes, you all could hit each other. That's how close you are.
Right.
So first up, we have Kepesk. This tiefling in front of you like takes off his fine jacket and just drapes it over a chair, and you realize he's a bit drunk as he kind of wobbles just a little bit.
In
He
the morning?
squints with his breath. Oh, they've been up all night. He like squints a bit, looks at you. Yeah. All right, there. What you got, lizard boy?
Yeah, as soon as he starts to sway, like my whole movement in getting up from the table is kind of quite similar. I kind of my eyes are kind of a little bit furrowed, and I'm kind of swaying back and forth, almost like in a bit of a dance, and kind of like even like a little bit wild. Like, all right, let's do this. Okay. All right. Woo. So yeah, it's my turn first.
Yes, you're up first.
So yeah, I kind of want to stumble forward and then like flail around with a massive high kick into his face.
Okay. Go for it.
That's a 24 to hit.
Yeah, you hit.
And can you remind me what do I add to the damage? What do I add to my damage rolls as a monk? Just my dexterity. Right?
You can do
Dexterity.
either. Actually, you can do either for a monk. Whatever is your best.
All right. So that is a 4 damage.
Okay.
So just right across his chin.
Okay. He just takes it. He's like, that was pretty good.
And then I want to use, I'm going to expend a key point and use Flurry of Blows.
Okay.
And just smash him with a left hook and then an uppercut with my right. Just
Okay. All right, great. Roll both of them.
Okay, well, that's miserable. So one is an 11 and the other one is a 18.
18 will hit. The other one he manages after getting hit, just kind of like, kind of moves out of the way, seeing the other one coming.
That's a 5 damage.
5 damage. Okay, looking good. All right. He's not bloodied yet. All right. Now it's his turn. He is going to make 2 swings at you. Your AC
is 16.
16. Yeah, he's not going to hit you. Yeah, no, he's not going to hit you. He just like kind of after taking it, he like swings wide and then he tries to like as if he fainted, just like and he like goes to uppercut you right from underneath that, and he just totally misses. All right, now Tracan, you're up. This half orc is just kind of lumbering in front of you, like, all right, let's see what you got, bird. He just spits on the ground.
I'll look at him and I'll put my hand wing up to my mouth and I'll say, listen, buddy, you know you really don't want to do this, right? And I'm going to try and cast Charm Person on him.
Okay.
Oh.
What's it against? Wisdom?
Yeah, so it's a DC 13 Wisdom saving throw. I'm hoping they're dumb.
Okay, and what do you say?
I'm like, come on, you and I, you know we don't really have to go through this. We got no beef between us. I like to think we could be friends.
And he looks at you just, well, yeah, good. And his fists go down to his side. He's just like, sure. Yeah, why not? Okay. And he looks at the rest of his crew, just like, these guys aren't so bad. And the crew's like, what the hell?
I'll give him a pat on the shoulder and be like, let's go get a drink.
He's like, wait, but the fight, like,
they don't need to worry about us. They'll take care of it themselves. Let's go get a drink. It's a new friendship.
Okay, all right, I'll drink to that. And he like goes over with you to the bar, and the captain just like scratches his head, like,
Fuck.
all right. Okay. And the rest of the crew is still like, oh my god. All right, and then Banshee's up. Go ahead and roll for that.
It's a 4.
Okay. Banshee goes in for the attack and misses. Then he goes in, he's just saying, like, I don't want to fight a cat. And he goes in to like kick the cat, Banshee. And what is Banshee's AC?
Banshee is 14.
14. Oh, no, he hits once. So he kicks her just once and deals 2 damage.
I think the other.
All right. And okay. Next up is Kepesk.
Okay, so I kind of stumble forward almost as if I'm going to fall forward, and then I like kind of lurch back really drunkenly. But as I lurch back, I kind of raise up with my feet and just.
Oh, are you going up on your tail?
No, not so much. But like I'm kind of like leaning back and then jumping up and then.
Oh,
back
okay.
As I lean back.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. Give me that. Give me those tips.
Just casual Bruce Lee.
Yeah, like
that,
actually.
And that's a 15 to hit.
That hits.
Bruce Lizard.
And that is that's a 5 to hit. 5 damage, right? I'm sorry.
All right. He's not looking good now.
And then I'm going to use my bonus action to take another hit with just a jab.
Okay.
And that is a 22 to hit.
Yeah, that is.
All right. And that is a 4 damage.
All right. With your last, so you kick him and he's like, that knocks the wind out of him. And then with his face forward, he looks up at you and you just pop right in his face.
Sleep time.
And he goes down.
All right. Who's next?
And you look around and you see the rest of the crew just like, all right. And they just start applauding. They're like, all right, that was good. That was really good.
And I want to do like a triple front flip, just as a bit of a flourish, like finishing a bit of a 3-point landing, and
they all kind of applaud.
Ceiling.
It's not terribly high. This is I'll give this is like 10 feet.
It's enough for me to do this.
Maybe he's like in the middle of a flip, like using his hands to push himself back up or something. To suspend belief here. So at that, as you do that, they clap even louder, and some of them say, "He's gonna be great. He's gonna do great." And then next we have Tracan. You have so you've got this guy at the bar with you, and he's like, I really like this friendship we've got going on, but I gotta be honest, I don't want to hurt you. I gotta do right by the crew. And we gotta finish that thing one way or another.
I completely understand. Let's just go have a real quick talk real quick. Let's go see how we're going to do this. And I walk over towards a wall that doesn't have any chairs by it. And I gesture him to take a seat on the floor while I lean up against the wall.
Okay. Okay. He does.
I'm going to try and keep him talking for at least long enough until he's counted out because he's on the ground.
Oh. Okay. All right. Okay. 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 So you do that. And we'll move on to Banshee. We'll come back to that. All right. So Banshee, go ahead and attack.
All right, so that's an 18 to hit.
18 hits.
Yeah. So, yeah, Banshee doesn't like getting kicked in the face, so she's actually going to run back a little bit, take a little bit of space and really run towards the guy with intent and pounce on him with a claw attack.
Okay.
So that's you have to do strength save. DC is 12.
He doesn't make it.
So he falls prone. And she's gonna get a claw attack, which is 1d4 plus 2. And that's a 4, so 6 damage.
6 damage, and he's on his back.
Yes.
Okay, is he pinned underneath Banshee or just knocked over?
No, she doesn't stay on him. She just kind of slaps him with her tail as she backs off. Yeah, now you know your place.
Okay. All right, great. So he gets himself up, and as he's doing it, he goes to kick again, and he gets a 22. So he kicks Banshee in the butt. Pretty good. That's another 2 damage. Some painful shoes. It's a hard kick. All right, Kepesk, we're gonna skip over you for now, unless you wanted to do something that interacted with them.
Yeah, I wanna go behind. I want to go behind where I didn't quite catch the cat's name, but where Banshee where so that Banshee's opponent can see me, and then I want to kind of just do actually drunk and silly and just making fart noises and just whoa, dancing I've got this long lizard's tongue that's just blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to I'm just generally distracting that opponent. The whole pack, essentially.
Yes.
Aapa
Okay.
is looking at you and laughing her ass off, just so you know.
Yeah. The crew, which you have the attention of the crew right now because you just knocked a guy out pretty quick. They're like, this guy, oh my gosh, this guy. Wow, I had no idea. All right. the tiefling's knocked out. Tracan, it comes back around, and you're talking to him, and you guys are having just a casual conversation, and the captain is just like, you can notice out of the corner of your eye, this human with the long hair and beard starts to walk over, and he says, yeah, okay, it's been more than 3 seconds. Yeah, and he just like puts his hand out to you to shake your hand.
I'll shake it.
Okay, he says, welcome aboard. And he looks down at the half-orc, and the half-orc is just like, oh, man.
Sorry, buddy.
That was good. That was clever. I didn't see that coming.
You know I had to do it to you.
Hey, all is fair. I was on the ground for more than 3 seconds, actually. 6, really. Realistic.
I'll reach down to help him up at least.
Okay, he's like, gosh, you are a good guy.
And
I knew I liked you. Right. And the captain starts to like lead you. He shakes the hand of the half-orc, and they like exchange a few words and a couple laughs. And then after that, he's going to start to lead you back towards the group.
It hasn't quite clicked in my mind yet that he said welcome aboard. So I think on the way back to the group, I might get like hey, hold on a second.
Yeah, okay. And then as you do that, the camera cuts away from you, and we go back to Banshee and the elf. All right, Banshee, go ahead.
19 to hit, and this time
With advantage.
Yeah, you do get advantage.
So roll again in case it's a nat 20.
No. So 19 to hit, and
Great,
she's gonna go for a bite this time, because ain't nobody got time for this shit. 6 plus 2, that's an 8 total damage.
That's very good. That's actually what you needed. He takes that, and he's like, he was still like kind of getting up off the ground, and then you just Banshee goes for a bite, and he's like, oh, fuck this, and he just like, he's like on the ground, like, I give, and he's just stuck there, and like blood is starting to pool out. I like to imagine Banshee's kind of got her mouth on the leg just in case, like he doesn't give up.
No. As soon as he gives, like she lets go, and then she licks his face, just like as humiliation kind of a thing. Like really slubbers on his face, like, yeah, you're a good guy, you're cute.
With all the saliva that cats have, just all that saliva that cats.
Well, you know how like really awful it is to feel a cat's tongue on your face. Yeah,
It's
well,
rough.
imagine that like the size of your face, and just goes.
He's missing a piece of skin.
Yes.
Well, he's really red now.
Yeah, he is red and bleeding from the leg. And the crew's everyone's like going nuts. Like, I haven't seen that. Like, you get people coming up to you, introducing themselves, like, I haven't seen that before. Like, well, you did that and this. And people are going up to the cat. Like, Banshee's getting a bunch of people going up, just being like, oh, like, that was amazing. Like, kind of talking to the cat, wondering if this creature also talks, because there's a talking large bird and a talking large lizard. So they don't know if this thing's going to talk. And
Because this was good performance for you, if you have any spell change, feel free to let it rain.
Oh, people, the crew, they start laughing big time. And they're like, oh, it's going to rain, my man. It's going to rain. It's going to rain money.
Aapa is actually gonna pull out her medicine kit, her healing kit, and she's gonna tend to the elf's wound.
Oh. He sees you coming forward and starts to like, no, get away, I'm done. I said I'm done.
No hurt. Look, no hurt. Need help.
All right.
I
Okay.
promise.
Thanks. He's like starts to like gingerly touch his face. Like a bad sunburn.
Yeah, that hurts.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Like, oh, thank you. Thanks. Yes. This is kind of humiliating on top of everything. And with that, the captain comes up to you. We need something decided for him. Ooh, yes, let's do that. Give me a percentile roll. Let's do not all of you, unfortunately. Actually, no. Let's do all of you. Yeah. Yeah. This would be great. So percentile roll. You all know how that's done.
So like out of 100, you mean, or just the one
Yes.
D10?
Yeah, out of 100.
All right, that's a 68 for me.
Okay. And then Aapa.
63.
3. All right. Tracan.
I have a whopping 26.
6. Okay. All right. Let's see what this gives us.
Listen, Tracan, I noticed during the fight that you didn't take the opportunity to fight. And I'm wondering if you're okay in the head, because that is a big sign of mental instability. I would know, because in my town, if people do not want to fight, we leave them out into the swamp, 5 days away from civilization, and abandon them there. If they come back, then we welcome them back. If they don't, then survival of the fittest.
I learned a long time ago that truly fighting means fighting with your best skills, and admittedly, my best skills do not lie in my my combat per se. At least not with my fist, that's for sure.
But you could like fly into the air and drop pebbles on people's faces.
I was out of pebbles.
Okay, well,
Aapa
good for
takes
you.
out the rock from her bag and just like hands it to you like, here, pebble, I have. You can
Yes,
Oh,
I'd love to see this.
I'll reach down and grab it. I'll be like, "Oh, thank you," and I'll hold on to it for a minute, I guess, until she's not looking, and then I'll just drop it.
Aw.
Until she wasn't looking. Hopefully, she didn't get sad.
Yeah, Banshee has a very like decent passive perception, so she's just gonna go over and pick it up and bring it back to me.
Probably fair.
Because that's my lucky rock, okay?
Oh,
Oh, you dropped the lucky rock.
so
I know,
I've been
bad luck on you.
smited.
Bad omen on you.
So as you all are talking, the captain walks up and he says, thank you for partaking in that. My name is Martin Juan Damien, and I will explain any of your questions. First off and foremost, you're probably wondering, what was that all about? This is something that our crew does. I need another roll, actually.
Do you mind if I call you Juan for short?
Juan? Well, I actually just prefer Martin. Thanks.
Good to know, Juan.
See, part of the funny thing is, when I'm the captain, you gotta do as I say.
I have never agreed to you being captain. This is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard in my life.
Wow. Okay. This time I did the roll. He says, this is the crew of the Poor Blood. And the Poor Blood is a cargo vessel, and we've been tasked with taking cargo somewhere very dangerous. And part of what the Poor Blood's tradition is every time we accept a mission, the main officers must challenge strangers to a fight. And whoever wins keeps that position or is replaced in that position. So you all are the new officers of this ship.
I have no nautical experience, so I may sink your ship within the day.
That is very common. That's why I'm the captain. I know how to take care of the ship. You will learn. And I will tell you, and the crew will tell you. Some of them don't want to be officers because they don't want the risk of losing it and being kicked off the ship until the next time they can try to earn their stay. So, since I'll explain, I'm sorry, what were your names again?
Aapa. Aapa.
And your cat is?
Banshee.
Banshee. Oh, all right, I hope it's not foreboding anything. All right, and he looks to you, Kepesk, and says, and you are?
And kind of as I'm talking, I do jabs and like just like side ducking and like kicks out into the air, like really like, and like my name is. I was named after the storms that would go through the swamp where I grew up, and the word for storm in my country is Kepesk. So you can call me that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
He's filming a
And you?
filming a kickboxing promo. Tracan, you can call me Officer Tracan, apparently.
Well, you are actually, Tracan. You are the bosun, which means you are in charge of the ship's integrity.
Very well. Is there? All right.
That, if it comes up, we'll explain it. Okay.
Aapa
okay.
kind of walks up to the captain and just tugs on. I suppose he has like a coat or something like that.
Mm. Oh yeah, he's got a big coat.
Yeah, she just tugs on his coat and really looks up and just goes, "What means officer?"
You're in charge of the crew. Underneath me. No, that's the special thing. You aren't the officer. Banshee is. We've never had this happen before. But your panther is the first mate.
I asked Banshee first. And I go ahead and kind of whisper with and sit and just kind of whisper with Banshee and just scratch her head and stuff.
Okay,
yeah,
as
Banshee,
you're doing,
you
I will take her position as well. I can handle a lot.
He like looks to you like, thank you. He looks down at Banshee, says, please. I kind of have to maintain this tradition that we've got going on. Otherwise, I don't know what the crew's going to do once they know that there are exceptions to this no exception tradition that we have.
Will this help?
Will it help? First off, I want to back up. You are certainly welcome. You two seem like you're a pair deal. So you're definitely welcome to come and act as interpreter and work on the ship. We can always use more capable hands. And hopefully you can translate for me when that's needed.
But why?
Look, how about this? I will help you do whatever you need to do. I'm very excited to be on the ship. So I can help you, Aapa, and you, Banshee, to do whatever you need to do. I'm very smart lizard, as you can see. I will help them. Come along. Let's go for an adventure.
But why go on ship?
Because there's lots of fish to eat, and we can have fun and see things, and there will be rain that falls from the sky while we're on the ship with big winds that will blow. And we will possibly capsize and sink to the bottom of the ocean, and then we can say that we have lived a full life.
Do you think ship can make Aapa stronger?
No, but nothing will make little girls stronger, but your mind will see many things.
That's actually you're touching on what is in it for you, which I appreciate. This mission we've been given pays very well. We also are going somewhere that is unusual. It's actually not on the maps. They want us to take some cargo to this predetermined location for an expedition out there. Now, it's a 5-day journey through some of the roughest seas out there, which is probably why no one found this island in the first place. So it'll pay well. It's bound to show you places that aren't really well known, and who knows what's on that island? Who knows what we're going to see in the ocean while we're out there? There are so many possibilities, and there's so much mystery that's what's amazing about this. And if that doesn't get your juices flowing, then I don't know what the hell will, because this is life, man.
Okay.
But I understand. Okay, thank you. That's really big, and you'll be paid back in many ways throughout this trip. So he looks at the rest of the group and says, all right, guys, we're moving out of here in 5 minutes. And he looks to you guys and says, please gather all of your things. And then let's mosey out of here. I'll take you over to the Poor Blood in just a minute.
Is it can we see the Poor Blood from where we currently are standing?
No, not from where you currently are standing inside. Just to go over it a bit, Banshee is the first mate. Kepesk is the quartermaster. And Tracan is the bosun. And if things come up that are your responsibility, the captain, Martin, will tell you.
Okay.
But of course, if you want to take on more responsibility and go out of your way, you're totally allowed to do that. All right. So for the sake of time, we are going to, I'm going to move through certain things pretty fast. So you all walk around and this ship is pretty well taken care of. You can see that Martin, while at times he might seem a little slow, he is perceptive in the way that he deals with his ship and the care of the ship. He's smart, although he may not be quick-witted about things. He's well-versed in the seas as he begins to explain to you the seas and the area that you'll be going into. And he starts to talk about some other times. And you're getting the sense, those of you who have decent insight, are proficient in insight, will begin to note that he seems like comes from, not only is he lean and fit, but he comes from a fighting background of some kind. He holds himself like a grounded mountain, and he talks very confidently, and the crew listens quick. There's not a sense of mutiny at all from what you can tell. You all begin to take off, and the wind is at your backs. The wind is great. And the first day, I'm going to ask, let's go with Tracan. How about you roll 2 d20s? Give me the first d20 that you get.
First d20, we're looking at a 6.
Okay.
Second d20 is an 18.
18.
The winds are very fresh today. I like the salt water on my tongue. It feels good.
That's something we can agree on.
Kepesk.
Do you have tongue in there? All I can see is very hard, shiny thing. I don't know what this is. It beak? Is it carapace? I don't know.
Yes. It would be considered a beak. Tracan doesn't really know how to continue with that situation. He hasn't had a lot of time on this plane, so he's kind of unfamiliar with the concept of someone not knowing what a bird is. So it's like, yeah, it's a beak. That'd be like me asking you if you had scales.
Yes, but I didn't know if, you look like bird that has been cast, I don't know, enchanted with some kind of enlarged spell or something. You look very big. So I didn't know whether when birds get really big that their beaks are called by a different name.
They may. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Okay.
As you guys are talking and you go about your day, you can see that most of the crew have their responsibilities. And Martin is talking to each of you, showing, like, he spends some time with Tracan. He's like, all right, so as the bosun, you are largely responsible for making sure the ship hull is good. So he hands you 2 bags of tools. Says, these are your carpentry tools. Okay? The supplies are, yeah, they're heavy. And in the unlikely case that there is a fire or, serious damage to the ship, figure something out. Okay? And I can't do your whole job for you. All right.
Captain Martin, I feel grossly underqualified for this position, but I'll do what I can.
You know what? The test isn't always the best, but you've got me if you really need anything, and you've got a whole crew of very experienced people that can help you.
Let's hope they're experienced.
I am
They
amazed
are.
that this ship has been floating for this long, if this is how you recruit people.
It's really useful when we get boarded to have really strong first officers, because it's hard to replace a first officer on the fly unless they can protect themselves. Speaking of Kepesk, as the quartermaster, you're in charge of several things, largely navigating.
Oh God.
So he's like, he comes up to you, he's like, this is a compass. Have you seen this before?
I have not seen one of these. Perhaps I kind of what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of like back into him like with my tail between his legs, and then kind of like get him to show me what the compass is, like with his arms around me. I feel like I can see this a little better from this. Angle.
So cute.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sure. And he like doesn't really move. He just stays in that position with you. He's like,
You have very strong arms.
Yeah, that's from years of fighting. So anyway,
Cool.
This is a compass. And he like goes to explain this is a compass, and he pulls out a sextant. He's like, this is a sextant. This is how you use it. Sextant. Yes.
Very suggestive name. And you say this while your arms are wrapped around me. It's
I didn't name it. You know what?
You
A lot of I'm not gonna judge. I'm not gonna. If you're into this, then it's a little weird. Then I feel taken advantage of. But
what are you talking about? You're just showing me how to sex and how to compass.
well, I guess I walked right into that. All right. And he like walks away and he goes and finds Banshee and Aapa. And he, and as he's walking away, he's like, there's a map in the back of the ship too.
In the back, you say? I'll be there in half an hour. I'll see you there.
He gestures towards the back right of the ship, where you see on the map there's a table and several chairs in there. He goes and finds Banshee and Aapa, and he says he looks at both of you and kneels down to Banshee and says, "You're the first mate. You're largely in charge of keeping tabs of the crew and making sure the crew is performing well. Essentially also in charge of morale. If mutiny is about to happen, it won't. But if it does, you let me know. Okay?" And then he looks at you, Aapa. Does she understand me?
Aapa just kind of nod, a little embarrassed because there's lots of words she didn't get, so she's just.
Great. You don't need any tools. You just gotta watch people, talk to them if you want. If things come up, I'll let you know. But pretty much, you two are going to be my main points of if I need something. It's going to be you two. I'll holler at the two of you.
Okay, Aapa will help. And she actually like wraps her arms around the captain's legs and just like, because I'm guessing she doesn't reach anything else. She just gives a hug to his leg and then let's go.
Yeah, he's like, all right. He just like pats you on the head, and he looks at Banshee and just is like making eye contact with her, like, this is interesting.
And Banshee just looks at him, she's just lying down like lazy panther style and just gives a nod like, yeah. Yeah.
I got this from the ground.
I won't be moving much, but I gotcha.
I'll be napping here. If you need me to do any ship stuff,
exactly.
I'll be here.
But I'll be seriously napping.
Yeah, real hard work there. Hard work. So the day progresses casually. It's beautiful outside. It's a little choppy in some places. And you guys actually The ship's going just fine, and then it hits against a shallow piece of ground, and the bosun, Tracan, the captain like comes into your view, and he like, it's like, wait, he's like listening. We're okay. Doesn't sound like there's any holes.
So one thing I'd like to point out is I like to imagine that as the bosun, I feel like I have to stay in the hull a lot.
Okay. Yeah, you can. So you stay down there a bunch. Is that what you're doing?
I'm completely freaked out. I hate it down here. I am not used to being confined in like a wooden coffin. I am having like the worst time. I am taking every opportunity I can to get above deck and just like fly.
Okay. So I'll imagine that when this happens, you are below deck, because if you were above, you probably would have been able to tell them that this thing was in the water. So this is one of the times when you're patrolling down there, and Martin comes running down and sees you, and he this is when he's listening and looking. He says, "It sounds like we're okay." That was close. And he starts to go back up, and then he stops at the top of the stairs. And then you start to smell it too. In fact, all of you start to smell smoke. Like, what? And he like runs around the ship, and he starts calling like, hey, put out your candles. Where's the smoke coming from? And you hear a couple of the crew go, it's over here. And a bunch of them start gathering around. And this fire is like, it's in the crew's quarters, and it's starting to grow big, and it's starting to burn all the beds really fast. There's just plenty of kindling in here. And Martin looks to you guys and says, I need you guys now. And he looks to the bosun, and he needs I need a strength check. And however you want to use your strength is up to you. We're going to follow what the book says, and I'm going to let you guys decide how you do this, okay?
However I use my strength check, I will use my strength as a bosun to order around all the people around me.
Okay.
I'm going to have them go, like, put out fires while I try and use prestidigitation to snuff as much of the fire as I can.
Okay.
So strength, I guess, unless you'd rather charisma, but strength would be a 3.
Oh,
I feel like I'm not suited for this position.
Your nerves are so shot that as you're trying to prestidigitate, you're accidentally doing air, like giving puffs of air. So it's like it's just getting bigger. And then I need the first mate to give me a charisma check.
Oh, that I don't think that's her forte.
I'm not surprised. She's a panther.
Yeah, no. Oof, that's 11.
All right, and what is she doing?
Well,
Sleeping.
yeah, Banshee doesn't like fire, so she's not doing good.
Is she?
You know what? No, you know what? What she's gonna do? She's gonna run below deck, and as soon as she sees the fire, she's gonna grab any person that is still there, and like she's gonna grab sailors and just bring them on the deck away from the fire.
Okay.
Can Aapa do something else while Banshee is doing that?
Yes, but first the captain's gonna be, no, don't get rid of the people. We need them to put out the fire.
She's looking at him very confused, like, no, fire danger. People away from danger. What?
And then Aapa, go ahead.
Yeah, Aapa is gonna use the rope that she has in her bag, and I saw on the map that there are many barrels around. Mm-hmm. She's gonna find an empty one, tie a rope around it, and throw it overboard in the water, and try to like bring it back on board with the water inside so that she can throw it.
Totally. Yeah, you can do that. There's also, I should say, if you're up on the top deck, you notice that there are barrels up here of water, like drinkable water up here. But you also, it was pointed out that there are barrels of also seawater for like swabbing the deck.
Okay, well then.
So you could use that instead.
then yeah, she'll use that instead.
Okay, so you're gonna take your time to. So carrying a big barrel, I'm gonna need a strength check.
Yeah, and that's
Can
gonna
I be
really
helping her
fun.
out with that, or
Or
are you going to
your job would be more in the intelligence area. You are using your intelligence to help in whatever way you deem possible.
16.
Hey, that's actually you find the strength to bring this barrel where it needs to go. You actually get some of the crew to help you. And and because they see you like managing, but like you're struggling. And so the crew comes along to help you.
Well, the barrel is bigger than me, so yeah.
So you're getting the barrel within position. It's not you're not able to bring it all the way there, but the barrel is in position to be used. And Kepesk, go ahead. How would you like to leverage your intelligence?
You're smart.
Like, how bad does the fire look? Does it look like it can be salvaged, or does it look really bad? Does it look bad enough to bring down the whole ship?
If it keeps going at this rate, it will.
Right. Yeah, I just want to, I guess, yell out to people. I think we need to maybe follow in the suit of Aapa and get some of these barrels down and throw them on the fire. If it goes poorly, I can swim very well. So you can swim
Very
with me.
casual.
All
right.
I can just fly away.
You could be like, I could be like swimming, and you could be like perched on my back, just like
like a periscope.
yeah.
And either one of you can carry me because I'm very light.
Poor Banshee.
Well, but she can swim, okay? She's a panther.
Yeah, they're actually pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you guys do this, Martin's like, okay, I need to give instruction. This is not working.
Hey, you put 3 unexperienced people into the helm. It was your fault.
Yes, I know. This happens. I know. Wow. You rolled a 1, guys.
Oh no, Cap! He stepped into a bucket?
He's just like, his brain's fried. He's just looking at the fire, like his nerves are just starting to get the better of him. He's like,
Now I understand why this ship is called Bad Blood, or whatever the fuck it's called.
But I was gonna like splash him a little bit with water and hey, no time to sleep. Come on, help!
Is this time yet to abandon the ship?
As we're over here trying to put out the fire, I'm just gonna look behind me and I'm gonna scream, Captain Martin, I humbly request an apartment change.
Can you actually? He looks at you. He says, "Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want." He's looking at all of you. He's like, "Just save the ship. Do whatever you need to do."
I'm gonna
This
start
is the
trying,
biggest gong show I have ever seen.
I'm gonna start trying to order people around and like see if we can't get this in like a reasonable place and see if they can trust me enough to actually do this.
Yeah, totally. Go for it.
I don't know what that role would be, but so
That'd be
okay,
great.
awesome. So regardless, I'm gonna at least try and order all these people. I'm gonna order all of the like the crew to make a fire line from somewhere that we can keep getting buckets of water to the to the room with all the fire in it. I'm gonna ask Kepesk. I think it'd be great if you could help them get water from the ocean onto the ship so that they can keep getting stuff. And then, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Aapa and Banshee. I think that Banshee would do best. Banshee seems to be freaking out a little bit because of the fire, if I remember correctly.
Little, yeah.
I think it'd be best if Banshee could maybe do something somewhere else, like maybe go fetch maybe new supplies from down below, or see if there's anybody down below who isn't helping, and then we can get them up here. In my humble opinion, as a very bossy bird, I think those might be our best options.
So go ahead and give me a charisma check to boss the not these players so much, because that'll be up to them, but to boss the crew around.
Is that just straight charisma?
Persuasion. Let's see that.
15.
Okay. That's good. They look around like, this is a good idea. Okay, yeah. and they just like start getting into a line, and someone's up top, like, and they're like starting to get the water and the buckets going, and they've got like 4 buckets between all of them, and they're like starting to apply the water, and it's making, you can tell this is going to make some progress. Kepesk, what would you like to do on your turn?
I go right up to the captain. I say, I just like come right up to him, and I'm just like, I say, snap out of it, soldier. You have men on the line. You have ship on the line. This whole place will be burning down around your addled head if you do not get yourself together. And I will be eating on your flesh if you die. So if you don't want to get eaten as a dead cadaver, snap into it and get the ship back under your control. That's an order.
Well, you can't order me around, but this is a very good point.
I slap him again. I said, you don't get to tell me what I can do because you just let your whole ship down by losing it in the middle of the worst time.
It was only 6 seconds. I was about to recover. Come on.
I slap him again. Don't tell me how long it was.
Stop it! Stop it!
I feel like he's just waiting to say I am the captain now.
And he kind of like with his strength, he just like shoves you. He tries to shove you to the side and like storm past you to the line of his crew.
Good for you, Captain. Try to do better this time.
It's just like doesn't even look. He just points back at you and just like wags a finger. And then he storms up the stairs. He actually storms down the stairs. And he's gone for a second. And it's not like you don't think he's running away. You think that he's doing something, but you just don't know what yet.
I'll contribute to the water line, the water bucket line.
Okay. And then Aapa, what would you and Banshee like to do? Or Banshee, yeah.
Aapa for now is gonna stay in the water line and like keep helping. Banshee is gonna run down below deck, and if she sees anyone not helping, she's just gonna like push a really powerful roar and push them with her head towards the stairs, like your butt's gone.
Okay, so there's no one down below, but she's patrolling around. She's keeping an eye out for now. There's no one down below. And you're just, go ahead and give me, what do you think, would it be strength for you or dexterity or charisma to like, boost the morale of everyone around you as you're doing this? Roll something.
Well, if we have a water chain and we're using barrels, I'm guessing that we're not dumb enough to carry them. We are probably just rolling them in diagonal like we do on deck. So I would say dexterity.
Not quite. The way it's working is there's big buckets that each person passes. At least the way I envisioned it from what Tracan was saying was that there's multiple buckets, but they fill a bucket and they pass it like that, as opposed to rolling barrels.
Okay, then I'm gonna try my luck and roll a strength check because Appa's gonna try to actually roll one of the big ass barrels and just like drop it. You did
previously bring that other big barrel downstairs with help from the crew. You do have that down there right now.
Yeah, but if they're using it with the buckets and stuff, she's not gonna.
It's not part of the buckets. It's actually separate. Some of them were taking that water to try to splash on it.
All right, then she's gonna just kick it so that it falls and just splashes all over the scene.
Okay, so to get it where you want to go, let's do dexterity.
15.
Yeah, let's do something. No, so you won't get the proficiency bonus. 15. Okay, that's great. Okay, so it actually goes and it gets like 3/4 of the fire like on the ground effectively. There's still things on the sides on like beds and some of the walls that are still like burning enough. But that did a lot of the work. So now more people can move in with the buckets and start putting things. As that concludes, what you did, you see the captain come back up, and he's got this bucket with like kind of a chalky powder, and he just like starts going in, and he looks to Tracan, and he's like, this, we needed this. I can't believe it. And think of it. And he starts like, you see him grab a handful and he throws it on some embers and like it starts to like die down. Like the fire can't breathe. It's suffocating the fire. It's essentially a fire retardant. And he's like just throwing it on things. And he's like, here, take some. And he looks at the others of you. It's like, come on. And so with that, you all, do you guys help him out? Do you all like jump in there and just start doing that? Or do you have other ideas?
Yeah, I'll jump in and help.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
No, Aapa is actually gonna go below and try to find Banshee because the fact that Banshee hasn't returned is weird to Aapa. So she wants to make sure that she didn't fall anywhere or she just hasn't found anything weird.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, if she was told to come back, I didn't realize she was going to come back. So yeah, totally. You find her and there's nothing suspicious. She's fine.
I'm actually gonna ask her, Banshee, can you smell where that came from? Who did that?
Go ahead and give me investigation for the cat.
Haha, and she's proficient in that.
Really? Oh, okay. Sure. Why the fuck not?
Well, I told you I was using the revised version and she has proficiency. Yes! Dirty 20.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. We'll let's say that after you all put out the fire, she starts to go sniffing around in the embers, and things are mostly covered in this white chalk, and the fire's been effectively put out. However, there is significant damage to a few parts of the ship. 1d3. I don't have a d3. I don't.
A D3? What does a D3 look like?
I'm not 100% sure. I know what
It's just
D2 looks like. It's a freaking coin.
A D3 is just a D6, and then it's like 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3.
Yeah.
Or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Doesn't really matter.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. That's great. Okay. Hey, you know what? Games. So there's damage to that room. Like the fire spread pretty fast. There's damage to that bunk room where most of the sailors sleep, and there's damage to some of the storage next to that. And I'll deal with the damage later. For now, what Banshee finds is a lantern, a fire lantern, actually, that was knocked over. And she starts to, she gets up to it and she sniffs it, and then she starts to gesture at it, as that's what it was. And then as she does that, the captain comes up and he says, "Yeah, I had a similar thought. I think when we were hit, or when we hit the bump in the water, when we got too close to some rock or something that knocked this off of its ledge, and it just took to the sheets. I'm surprised it was so loose here. Normally these are bolted down. It's clearly something you have to talk to the crew about." And he looks at Banshee like, that'll be you, by the way. Somehow. Anyway.
Then she tries to give him her best smile, like showing all of her canines.
By the way, you guys, he looks at the three of you. You guys are four of you. You guys actually did really good. I'm sorry I panicked there. It doesn't normally happen.
Not good enough from my point of view.
So what I want you guys to, you don't have to follow what I say. You do what you need to do. And just, if you have questions, of course I'll help. But I think it's better if you guys go with the flow of what you know. And he's like, "All right, we're gonna clean this up. Tracan, you're with me." And he ends up like taking you through how to repair it, or do some repairs to it. And ultimately you guys aren't gonna be able to fix it. But you're gonna start to get to work on repairing the worst damage.
I have mending if that helps at all.
Oh. You tell him that, and he's like, you can fix this without supplies.
I'll find like something small and broken, like the broken oil, like whatever it was, and I'll mend that. I'll be like, yeah.
I needed you so many times ago. Oh my god.
Everyone needs me.
Please go at it. Just go ahead.
I'll snap up a storm.
Captain is cheating on you.
Huh?
I was saying, Kepesk, the captain is cheating on you now.
It's all right. He's a coward anyway. His mind doesn't work under pressure.
Yeah, this time you sure didn't.
I also have prestidigitation, so I'll just go around cleaning the room too while I'm at it. I'll sit in a chair reading a book for like 30 minutes while I just snap around the room, and I'll be like, all right, job's done.
Can you do it like Mary Poppins, please?
Oh, yeah. What kind of bard is Tracan?
So Tracan is if he studied at the School of Glamour. You can tell that by he takes very good care of himself, despite how he may be looking recently because of his frequent time under deck. He hasn't had a chance to really compose himself. He looks very disheveled and disgusting. He carries a few instruments on him. If you catch him not really doing much of anything, you'll see him normally playing a pan flute.
Okay. All right. So I'd like to imagine that you're doing something bard-like while you're cleaning, maybe. Or you said you were reading, actually. All right. So you're reading.
I'm probably reading, or like I'm like pluming myself, which is a really weird thing to say.
You do you.
Totally understand. D&D is full of weird things. Okay. Kepesk, let's have you do the 2d20s this time.
All right. 2 d20s. Wow, what are the odds? 2 3s.
So before you all get to bed, before this whole thing dies down, there is a you all you're up on the top deck, or actually you're wherever you are, I should say. But wherever you are on the ship, you hear down in the bunk room, you hear two sailors arguing with each other, and then you hear more voices join in, and they're shouting at each other. And those of you with passive perception above 12 can hear what they're saying. They are arguing about whose fault it is that this fire started. And they start there. You can hear they're like pointing fingers, calling out names, swearing at each other. And largely it falls down to whoever put the lantern up there and didn't bolt it down nearly burnt the ship down. And you're afraid there's going to be a big fight that's going to happen.
I want to go straight in there.
Okay.
And I want to kind of really start off with a bit of a dance, like, hey, 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 and like, and like kicking my things out, my feet out. And then when I've hopefully got some people's attention, I'll be like, gentlemen, ladies, and people of other races, it is really apparent that this is one big gong show of a ship. You cannot be surprised if things like this happen when you get 3 officers that are in the pub and you were drunk. And we are lucky that we are still afloat. Best to put our attention to getting back to a safe place where we can flee the confines of this ship so that we are not going to meet our dooms at the bottom of the ocean. No?
They all look around. Go ahead and roll for that. What was that? Persuasion?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Banshee and Aapa are gonna run down as well, and while he explains all that, Banshee is standing like right behind him and growling, like all of her hair puffed up, teeth out.
Okay, so kind of like an assisted intimidation?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to roll again then?
Yeah, it sounds like you got some advantage right there.
Okay.
Tracan would have been below the ship, but noticing on their way up to check out what's going on that these guys are already there, he's going to be like, well, there's no need for me here. I'm going to take this opportunity to go outside.
Sorry, go ahead, Kepesk.
15.
15, okay. All right, okay. The captain comes in right at the tail end of what you're saying, and he says, I 100% agree with what Kepesk is saying. We need to work together. This is in the past. Let's get to where we need to go. And yes, there was a mistake here that was made, but we learn. And he looks to Banshee, And you don't want her to kill you, right? I mean, look at her. That's a threat. Doesn't
If
take a
anyone
genius
needs
figure
to
this out.
vent their spleen, to get some of this bad blood out of your system, I am happy to help you out with a little bit of a tussle, a little bit of a fight, a little bit of a wrestle. Just come at me, you need to let it out.
They all kind of look to each other, just like, they kind of start to laugh. Like, no, we've seen you fight. Like, no, it's okay.
It was
pass
just
this
an
stuff.
offer.
And the captain kind of like starts to turn and looks to you so that no one else can see, and he's just like gives you a wink. That's actually a good call. I mean, if they do fight you, you won't care, right?
No, I like the fight. I live for this.
Good. Yeah. I haven't used that trick in a while. That's a good one. Good one.
Let's be honest, you've never used this trick, have you?
No, I have. It was a long
Inside check.
And he just yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay, that's the 14.
You think that based on the little bit you can tell from, that he's hinted at of his background, that he maybe has done this before. Like he maybe used to keep a crew in line through intimidation.
Keep up the good work, Cap.
Yeah. Anyway, and he walks off. With that, I think that's a good place for us to stop. So the end of the first day concludes. You've held off a fire that could have taken down the entire ship. With magic, you repaired it pretty damn well. I'm not sure if Mend will allow you to repair like deep in the wood, or if it's just surface level, because it usually repairs objects that are like only a certain size. So I'll have to look into that.
It looks good enough to them. I don't care how it actually is.
That's the glamour school.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching the first episode. We hope you enjoyed it. That hook, the entire thing, that was something different. It was something very unusual for me and for the players as well. But I hope you enjoyed it. What did you think? Did you think something worked? Did you think there was some improvements somewhere else? Let me know. I'm always interested in feedback. Just put it in the comment section below. And if you liked the video, please don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications for whenever we release new videos. You can also subscribe by pushing the button here, and when I release the second video, I will put a link to it right up here. Well, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Take care.